It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
All good.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Buffalo University's assistant women's basketball coach, Coach Candyce Wheeler. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college basketball?
Yeah, I think from an early age, I knew, especially a couple years, I had been hurt, so I was able to sit out and kind of see the game from a different perspective. That just kind of allowed me to learn the game differently, and I kind of just knew that once I finished playing, I didn't want to get back really quickly into the real world, but still wanted to be around basketball.
What was it like going to the University of Louisville and playing collegiately?
It was awesome. I think, a lot of people don't know that my first 2 years I was actually at Xavier University in Cincinnati, but Louisville was the first to offer me. And then I decided that Xavier just, wasn't the place for me and wanted to get back home. And I saw, Louisville was starting to win. They were starting to produce fans and they were getting to the NCAA tournament. So, and then, when I came back, we went to the Sweet 16, and then my senior year, we went to the Final Four, so in the national championship game. So it was awesome playing for my city.
What was that like getting to put on that jersey for them and represent them?
It was an amazing experience. I think anytime you can go and play for your hometown and represent them, and then, do what we did in 2009 for the first time in school history, which was getting to an Elite Eight, to a Final Four, and then playing for a national championship. That's always exciting, and no one can ever take that away. And just loved representing that Louisville, that red and black jersey.
How's that like, obviously, as you said, getting to represent your hometown and play in front of your friends and family?
Yeah, I think, it says something in itself, just knowing that every game you're going to have, friends and family in the stands cheering you on, and just, being in your hometown. I think it's an amazing feeling. Obviously, I didn't think that, I would be back in Louisville playing, but I enjoyed it, and, I wouldn't change it for the world.
What were some of your collegiate accomplishments as a player?
Yeah, so like I said, we were able to go to the Final Four. I was Big East first team second team my junior year. I was Big East all um, team my senior year. I made the all tournament Big East team, and then when we did go to the Final Four, I made the regional team as well. So. My senior year, I was the second leading scorer on our team, so I could say I did pretty well there in college.
How was that like, obviously, going to the Final Four as a player?
It's an unbelievable experience. Watching it now, I will always be able to say that I was a part of that I helped, the university and was able to play in that Final Four. It's kind of, I don't even know. It's like incredible feeling to know that you're one of the last four teams in the country playing.
Of course, after your collegiate time, what was it like going from playing college to going to the WNBA to play?
It was different. It was obviously, I'll never forget that moment when I was drafted. It was last, but I could still always say that I was drafted. It was different. Obviously, being somewhere around to those professionals like Becky Hammond. Becky Hammond was on the Silver Stars, so it was different. It was obviously a job, but it was a great experience. Something that I'll always remember.
Of course, how was that like getting to play for the San Antonio Silver Stars?
It was fun. I think everyone's there to play, and it's a job, so it's not just like, yeah, it's fun, but you still have to put in the work. You still gotta show up every day, ready to get better and ready to compete. And I think that was a great experience for me.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to put on your first WNBA jersey versus your feeling like putting on your first collegiate jersey?
Um, I would say a little bit the same, like exciting, nervous, but like I said, at the same time, when you put on that WNBA jersey, it's more of a job. It's like this is, how you're, you know, living each day. But it was a great experience. I think it was fun. It was, like I said, it was nervous but exciting at the same time.
How did your time as a professional athlete help you into where you are now, getting into college coaching?
Yeah, I think, as a college athlete, like I said, I knew that I wanted to coach. So I think now sharing my different experiences as um a student, I was once a student athlete, being able to share those different experiences, being able to relate, again, and then playing professionally, I think that allows me to, share my different experiences, and student athletes like respect that aspect of it as well. So I think it correlates, hand in hand.
What was it like, obviously, getting first started as a grad assistant at your alma mater?
It was different. I think as a student athlete, you don't really like understand the ins and outs, especially like with recruiting. Like I don't think you being in the office, I think, as a student athlete, you're like, what do the coaches do all day? Like, but they're actually in there like making phone calls, doing scouting reports. I don't think, I understood, what all went into a scouting report, the time in the film and just meetings and the other things that, that go on where it's not necessarily coaching that, you don't understand as a student athlete as far as what goes into coaching.
Of course, what was the transition like from going from being a grad assistant to coaching on the high school level?
It was different, I think, because, at the as a grad assistant, you're, helping with recruiting, helping with visits, helping with practice, and all those players, you kind of helped like choose. Where at high school, it's like you're just giving who you got, and you just try to make it work. But it's probably not as intense, I would say, at the high school level, but it was very enjoyable for me, just being around the players, and they were kind of just there to do it, not necessarily wanting to go to college, and play.
What was that feeling like, getting your first full-time assistant coaching job at Western Kentucky?
It was amazing. I think, very honored, obviously, with just having played for Coach Hurd. I was very excited for her when she took the job at Western Kentucky. And then, when I got that call from her asking to be one of her assistants, I was super excited to finally, get a assistant job, and great experience. I mean, we won the Sun Belt. Um, that year as well. So I was, elated and excited to work for Coach Hurd, learn from Coach Hurd. Her and I were like buddies. That was my coach. I always went to when we were at Louisville. So getting to work with her was a great experience. I learned so much from her.
How was it like going from Western Kentucky to Bellemere?
Yeah. It was obviously, with it being at the Division II level, it was a little bit different as far as in recruiting and those kind of things. But I learned so much in my 4 years at Bellarmine under Coach Dugan and Coach Litton. Obviously, being back in my hometown, that was always fun. But like I said, I learned so much, and I loved the D2 level. I loved, at Christmas break having those 7 days, and then obviously during the summers you didn't have to work out with the girls, so was able to spend, more time with family and friends. But again, enjoyed the GLVC, enjoyed, being at Bellarmine for my 4 years.
What was it like in your experience, like going to South Carolina upstate to become the recruitment coordinator along with the assistant coach?
Yeah, obviously I didn't know at the time, I didn't know Coach Burke had accepted that position, but then when she called and asked would I, be willing to join her, it was a no-brainer. I had followed her career over, her D2 career. So I was excited. Obviously, I had never been to South Carolina before, didn't know what to expect, but obviously loved the weather, and loved, what Coach was, you know, doing as far as rebuilding. And I knew at some point we would win. And in our second year, we did start to win. But recruiting coordinator is different. I think, so much goes into that. But I learned so much from it, just, how she wanted, what kind of kids she wanted. And but it was fun. I enjoyed my time at South Carolina Upstate. I really did.
What was that experience like following Coach Burke to come to Buffalo University to become the assistant coach?
Yeah, I mean, it was originally when she mentioned Buffalo, I didn't realize how far it was from the city. I originally thought it was in the city, and I was like, I'm not trying to go to the city. But my husband, kind of told me, he's like, no, it's like 6.5 hours away from the city. So, once I, went with her when she had her press conference, I loved it. And obviously blue is a little different color than what we were used to, but oh my gosh, just the resources, the community, everyone was so nice. Obviously, the weather is a little bit different. Got a blizzard going on right now, but I just loved the athletic director, the SWA, the community. I knew, there was a lot of fans. We always get a good crowd at the games, but so far the experience has been really, really wonderful. I'm enjoying it a lot.
What has that experience been like for you to follow Coach Burke's career and obviously become her assistant coach throughout her last two stops?
Yeah, it's actually been kind of crazy, like, because I'd always followed her when we were at recruiting events. We would always talk, always catch up. I knew, she's a winner, and she was a winner when I played with her, and she's been a winner every stop that she has gone. Now she's won very, very fast. But that just says a lot to her, her work ethic, what she's about. And so when she asked me to come to Buffalo, I was elated to come. It's been a great experience so far. Obviously, ups and downs. There's been challenges, but at the end of the day, we know how to win. She knows how to win, and she wants to win. And I definitely am happy that she asked me to be a part of that.
Of course, as a coach, what does a typical game day look like at Buffalo versus as the players?
Yeah. Game day at Buffalo. So obviously, if there's classes, there's school first, and then we always have shoot around. So we'll shoot for about an hour, 5 minutes. Go over the team scout, and then after that we'll have pregame. That's for that, and then for the players, they'll go back, shower, take a nap if they have time, and the coaches. I used to take a nap as a player, but as a coach, not necessarily taking a nap now. Just eating, pregame, eating, and then just getting mentally prepared for the game.
Of course, what has that a typical game day look like on your side as a coach sitting on the sidelines?
Yeah, so like I said, game day, it's still that same schedule as far as the players, and then um they get on the court about 90 minutes before the game, and then we're out there with them, stretching, warming them up, getting excited, clapping it up, and then we'll start the warm up around like 44 minutes, and then we'll go into the locker room around 30. Coach will give her speech. We're back out on the court between like 15 and 16 minutes. They're shooting again, and then it's game time.
Of course, as a college coach, what are some of the things that you took from your time as a professional athlete to help these up and coming college athletes?
Yeah, I think time management is huge with classes and trying to go between a good balance of you know still working, getting in the gym, practice, travel, all that stuff. But I think as a professional athlete, it's a job at the end of the day. And now college athletics, it's a job, and they are getting money, they are getting paid. And so just trying to let them know that you still need to have a balance within it, but you can still have fun, and it can still be rewarding. Your hard work doesn't always show right away, but your end goal. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And so just trying to share those little, details and what I've learned and what I've gone to, the experiences that I've gone through with them.
Who are some of the teams that you face each week in your conference?
Yeah, so we actually start off with Kent State. January 4th. There'll be our first MAC opponent, and then Central Michigan, Ohio, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Toledo, Akron, Bowling Green. MAC is tough. It's a tough conference, but we're excited to get going. We got one more game before we start MAC conference, but we're excited.
Of course, what is that like? Obviously, getting to play some of your teams in your conference, like Bowling Green.
Yeah. So the funny thing is that the head coach there, Coach Freilich, she was actually at Ashland when I was at Bellarmine. So I'm really familiar with her style of play. Oh my God, the girls play. Her teams always play hard. She runs good stuff. So it's going to be exciting to get into MAC play and just learn different teams. Obviously, it's a little bit different than the Big South, but it'll be exciting to get in there. I mean, Kent's always good. Toledo, Ball State. I actually long time ago was recruited by Ball State, so it'll be fun to Miami of Ohio. It'll be fun to play some of these teams now.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've started to help build for the Buffalo University's women's basketball program?
Yeah, I think obviously we want winners. We want high character players. We want players that want to be a part of something special. Obviously, you got to work hard. We're blue collar over here. Like we do things, not the easy way. We don't want anything given to us. So, we want players that want to come in and work hard, get in the gym on their own. We don't have to beg you to get in the gym. Take academics very, very seriously, because at the end of the day, the ball will stop bouncing. But that's kind of the culture. I would say blue collar and disciplined, and want to come to work every day with the chip on their shoulder and work hard.
What are some of your future plans on building the program for Buffalo?
Yeah, I think obviously we want to still, recruit those type of players. But Buffalo has been to a Sweet 16. I think the end goal is getting to Elite Eight and Final Four, and I think we have the resources to do that. Obviously it's going to take some time, but I definitely think that's a goal of ours.
How's that been like, obviously coaching, as you said, going to the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16? How's that been like experiencing on the coaching side going?
Um, Good. I mean, like I said, I think as a player, you've experienced that, and so you know what it takes. And as long as you can get, your locker room, your players to buy into that, I don't think it's not doable. Obviously, we got to get, a couple, studs in here as far as recruiting, but I think especially during the tournament, like it's anybody's game. That's why you play the game. So, it's exciting to, talk about that and have that in the back of our minds as far as doing.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective female athletes looking to play college basketball?
Yeah, I think we've solidified our 23 class, and now it's on to the 24s. But the recruitment process, it can be a long process. Just making phone calls, getting out to see them, getting to know their parents, getting them on campus, seeing Buffalo. And I think it depends on what the student wants. Either they, some won't know right away what they want, and some don't. So they'll either commit early, or some will commit, later on. But the recruitment process has been pretty good for us.
Of course, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes as an assistant coach?
Kind of the same things that we kind of talked about. Obviously, we have to get, student athletes that fit Coach Burke's style. Obviously, you got to take care of your business in the classroom, but high character. You don't want anyone with too many issues. But like I said, high character. She likes shooters. People with high IQs. Um, you know, and Coach is kind of old school, and she likes true back to the basket posts. So I think that's always fun. I work with the post players, but guards that are crafty but create, get downhill. But like I said, high IQ, high character, those type of kids.
Of course, for those prospective student athletes, what does the official visit look like at Buffalo?
Yeah, so official visits, man. Well, as soon as they get on campus or land in Buffalo, that's when the visit starts. So there's always, seeing practice, seeing a game, but they'll have meetings. We eat a ton, so that's always fun. But the cool thing too, on visits, I was actually able to go to Niagara Falls. So, we'll take them to Niagara Falls. They'll hang with our team, get ice cream, go bowling, those kind of things. So, I would say a ton of meetings, a ton of eating, but then just, campus tour, athletics tours, those kind of things.
Of course, with Buffalo having so much snow every year, how have you used that to have a benefit, and how does that have a disadvantage against you?
Yeah, so I think, we always tell them, yeah, it's snowy, it's cold, but we play inside. So, I think you have to be honest, but at the same time, I think you just have to, get them to understand that, yeah, it snows here, it's cold, but that doesn't determine whether we're going to be good or bad, or, like we said, we play inside. So, yeah, it's not always, appealing, but at the end of the day, we're just, playing basketball, just wanting them to be here. And you know that doesn't, like, the snow and stuff doesn't really matter. So I know it's hard for some, but just, I think it's more about the style, the coaches building relationships, and at the end of the day, that stuff shouldn't matter. And if it does, then you probably don't really need them to be here anyways.
What is it like, obviously, as a coach, a college coach, seeing them get to put on that Buffalo jersey for the first time as a freshman versus the last time as a senior?
Yeah, I think with any place, if your first year, you're excited, you're nervous. The blue does look good, but then, in your senior year, it's all bittersweet. Like, it's your first, last home game, or your first last road game, or somewhere. But I think it's different, but it's in the same. Then, like, on senior night, you'll never play, in the arena again. So I think it's bittersweet on both sides. Like, as a freshman, you're still new to it, but then as a senior, you've experienced, you've learned a lot. Like, but you're excited about that moment, but you're still, looking forward to what's next.
How's it like as a college coach getting to see those players perform on the college level and then go to the WNBA or even overseas to play professionally?
Yeah, I think that just goes to the testament of them as players, not wanting that ball to stop bouncing, put it in the work to either, go overseas, or, play in the WBA. I think obviously they've done all the work, but just being a small piece of that always, makes you proud, and, makes you want to continue them, to see them do well in their next profession.
What advice would you give those high school athletes that are looking to play college basketball?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you got to work hard. Um, you got to put in the work. You can't, and then once you get that scholarship or whatever you're looking for, the work doesn't stop. And I think so many times, once you get a scholarship, once you get to that college, the work stops. But the work doesn't stop, because everybody at the college level is good. And so if you stop working, someone else is always going to be working, and then you get there and you're not playing. So I think, you just got to continue to work, continue to stay humble, and keep getting better.
What advice would you give those college basketball players that are looking to play for Athletes Unlimited or the WNBA or even overseas?
It's the same. Again, those players are professionals. So if you don't continue to put in the work, if you don't, want to continue to get better, you're gonna get surpassed, or you're not going to make it to that level. So again, work, like Coach Burke says, work is work. And if you don't continue to work, then it's, you're not going to get to that next level.
What advice would you give those that are looking to represent a national team like Team USA or Canada?
Yeah, I think, again, it's all about work. I think it's about networking as well. I think, you got to put yourself out there to make it known that that's what you want to do. But once you know get to college and all those, like, you gotta, take care of your body. I think That's a different level. I think playing for, Team USA, that's a all totally different level. They're built differently, and I think you have to be built differently to get to that point.
What advice would you give those people such as yourself that was professional athletes that made that jump and got into college coaching?
Yeah, I think it's again about networking. It's about who you know. Like I've never interviewed for a coaching job. It's definitely about who you know, networking, keep learning, ask questions, go to clinics, to the Final Four, put your resume out, email coaches, just telling them be a GA. Like the GA position isn't always appealing. Like you do stuff you don't want to do, but that's a way to get your foot in the door and learn. And I think if you're willing to learn, then you can, get into this profession.
What advice would you give those future assistant coaches looking to get started?
Yeah, I would say the same thing, talk, network, email coaches, write letters, get to the Final Four, get to clinics, make it be known that this is what you want to get into.
It's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Buffalo University women's basketball program?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I gotta look at my handle. I don't even know I don't even know what my handle is, but it is let me see. It is CM Wheeler 13 on Twitter. And then my Instagram. What is my Instagram? My Instagram is Wheeler.Candyce.
Thank you again.
What's that?
Where can my listeners find Buffalo University at too?
We're UB Women's Hoops on Twitter. And then UB Women's Hoops on Instagram as well.
Thank you again, Coach Candyce Wheeler, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at the University of Buffalo as the assistant coach.
Thank you so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon. And you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Candyce Wheeler, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.